what if every setback wasn't a step back? What if every step back was a step up for the future, right? When it comes to the journey of pursuing success or walking towards making your vision a reality and, achieving your dreams, we should start to look at setbacks and the low points and the losses as setups, right? So every setback isn't a step back, but a step up for the future, right? Because everybody who once achieved great things always said that the low points to what shaped them into being able to rise and hit that high point, right? So when you think about it like that, every setback isn't a step back, right? You're not moving backwards. It's a step up for the future. It's like a slingshot. The further back you go, the further you go. The further back you go to when you're pulling it back, when you release it, you go even further, right? And I think we should look at the obstacles and the low points as slingshot moments. We're being pulled back, but when we get released, we're gonna go far. We're gonna rise, right? So it's like, sometimes you have to take 2 steps back, but to go 10 forward. Nobody's saying those 2 steps back are not gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt, You're gonna feel like you don't know what to do. You're gonna feel lost. You're gonna feel like, is it all worth it? You're gonna feel like giving up, but those 2 steps back are what are gonna make you and shape you into being able to take those 10 forward, right? And then when you take those 10 forward, you're gonna look back and be like, if I didn't take those 2 steps back, I wouldn't have never been here, right? If I didn't go through the hard moments, the bad times, the difficult times, who's to say I would have had this success, achieved this dream, do this, do that, right? So every setback isn't a step back, right? Because everything in this world is working for you, especially if you're on the journey to success or achieving your dreams. Everything is working for you. Nothing's happening to you. Everything's happening for you. Everything's working out for your good, for your success. So if you continue to walk with that mind frame, then the low moments, the bad times, they shouldn't, phase you. Obviously, they're gonna bother you a little bit, but it shouldn't really, deter you from the bigger picture or the outcome. Because every setback isn't a step back, it's a step up for the future, right? So think of it like, I feel like basketball would be the most suitable example for this. So in basketball, players get subbed in, subbed out, right? By the coach. It's not always because they had a bad game. Sometimes it's just the coach wants to give them some rest. Maybe let them sit down and see the game from a different perspective and, rejuvenate so that when they go back on the court, they're even better. They can put on more points, you know what I mean? We need to start looking at God like that. God is the coach, or the universe, or life, whatever, is the coach. And you're the player. Sometimes there's going to be seasons or quarters where you have to sit on the bench, get taken out of the game, get pulled away from the action, and just sit there, and it's going to hurt. But it's not a step back. It might look like a setback, but it's not a step back. It's just, God wants you to see, okay, you're putting in the work, you're doing this, you're doing that, but I need you to rest now. I need you to be energetic for that 4th quarter. I need you to be rejuvenated for that next season that I'm about to put you in. So I don't want you to hustle crazy or put in all this work to where you're burnt out, right? So, sometimes you're just gonna have to sit on the bench for some quarters, some seasons in your life, right? And it's not setbacks, it's step backs. It's not step backs. It's a step up for ultimately your good and for the next level that you're trying to reach, right? So when you're on the bench, look at it like, okay, what can I learn from sitting down and watching the game instead of me actually playing? What can I learn? Can I slow down and be more present in what's going on while I'm on the bench? Can I, not look at it as a negative, but use it to rest, to circle back and, re-strategize for what I'm about to do when I get back on the field, when I get back in the game, right? That's how you have to look at it. Nothing in this world is harming you, especially when you're on the journey to success. Everything is working for you. And you have to be okay with sitting on the bench sometimes, being pulled out of the game, being taken off, and just being in a season of rest. You can't really see how it's going to work or what's next, but you just have to be more present and control what you can control. That's really what it is, control what you can control. You can't control being, taken out of the game or whatever, but you can control what you do while you're waiting, while you're watching, and then when you get back in the game, you go put in that work, right? So that's how we need to view the journey to success. Every setback isn't a step back. Step up for the future, for your good, for your success, right? And if you didn't have these obstacles, your story wouldn't be great. You wouldn't be able to tell good stories, right? Think of anybody who was successful and the difficult time that they had in their stories. Their stories wouldn't mean anything if it was just all good. If it was just all linear and they were able to just go from 0 to 100 just like that. It's the hard times, the difficult times, the time they were down on their ass, down on their day, that made them, that made their story worthwhile, more meaningful, right? It was the step backs, it was the 2-step back, and it's gonna hurt, but you have to be prepared for it to firm it. You have to be prepared to be on that bench, but be present, control what you can control, and understand it's a necessary season for you to step up and elevate, right? So it's never a negative, and just think of yourself as a slingshot. Whenever something bad happens, now bad is gonna happen. Somebody might die that's close to you. You might take a loss, you might fail, you might hit rock bottom, you might lose yourself, you might go broke. Whatever it is, it's gonna happen in one of those forms. But you have to understand that, okay, it might just be my time to suffer, right? This might just be my storm. And don't be in a rush for the storm to pass. Dance in the storm. Be present in the storm, because your perception of the storm is what's gonna either make it stay longer or leave quickly, right? So try and survive those seasons with a bit more enthusiasm, and recognize that it's not a step back, it's not breaking you, it's a step up that's building you and pushing you towards where you're trying to go, right? So yeah, everybody, Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, the Elon Musk, the Steve Jobs. I think Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, at one point in his life. That was his setback. It wasn't a step back, but that was his setback for him to ultimately be as successful as he has now, do what he does now. That was his. He had to suffer. He firmed it. So don't be in a rush to, like I said, don't be in a rush for the storm to leave. Be present. Learn what you can from the setbacks. Take a look at everything around you, seriously. And when it's time for you to get back in the when it's time for you to get back in the game or get into that new season, you're fresh, you're 10 steps ahead, you're closer to your goal than where you started, So it's just about understanding that everybody who once had something great that they achieved, some sort of success, whatever it is, they had a period of time where they had to suffer, they had to stay on the bench, they had to, take 2 steps back. But then when they took those 10 steps forward or those 5 steps forward, it was worth it. it was meaningful because every setback isn't a step back, but a setup for the future.